Alright, today I'm going to be talking about how to make beautiful particle simulations as you see right here. I'm going to be rendering thousands and thousands of particles, and you're going to be learning how to use forces to influence those particles. This was a lot of fun to put together, and I pushed the limits of my computer and crashed Blender. So, without further ado, let's get right into this. So first I went ahead and added a particle system to my object, and I made sure it was set to emitter. The number influences how many particles there are. There's frame start and end options for limiting when the particles are flowing. The lifetime influences how long a particle stays on the screen. Underneath the velocity tab, you can set how much force each particle is being pushed out by. And underneath the render tab, you can set an object or a collection to render the particles as. One really cool thing you can do is actually keyframe the movement of the emitter, so you get interesting looking particle simulations. You can also add forces to influence the way the particles move, more on that later. For material, to add some randomness, just add a color ramp to it, and object info random. I think emission shaders work really well with these particle simulations in front of a black background. Here's the first particle render I made. It's also really easy to make fireworks, as I highlighted it in one of my older tutorials. I don't recommend you watch that because it's pretty garbage. But yeah, it looks pretty nice. Just make sure you set the start frame and the end frame one frame apart from each other. I would like to interrupt this program to beg for your subscription. Only 11% of my viewers are actually subscribed, so it would be really cool if you went ahead and clicked that subscribe button. Alright, let's talk a little bit about forces. So there's a bunch of different types, and basically what they do is they affect particles in cloth simulations, and I don't think they affect rigid body, but they affect different types of simulations, and each force affects in a different way. They're really cool. They have their own tab which you can edit them. They are amazing for these particle simulations. You can create some really cool stuff. So another cool thing you can do is turn off the gravity and have the particles move upwards. That looks really nice when you're using the vortex force. So on the second render, I tried it out with 5,000 particles. I bumped it up to 20,000 particles, which is truly a sight to behold in 17 frames per second in the viewport. Here's what it looks like. Here's the final render in glorious 60 frames per second. Next, I tried a different particle render with 1,000,000 particles, and after baking it, that went very poorly. Blender crashed on me, so unless if you have some sort of NASA supercomputer, don't try rendering 1,000,000 particles. So that's about as far as I went with this idea. I'm sure there's some really awesome stuff you can do with this, but I'm going to end this video here. If you did enjoy, like I said earlier, maybe consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video.